Hello again, everyone, and welcome to the OSU Roundup. Coming up, we're talking not only men's tennis, we're going to talk some softball, and we're going to hear from one of the greats in Pete and Cavilla here on the show. But right now, let's start with the current head coach for the Oklahoma State Cowboys, Coach Josh Holliday. And, Coach, 2-2 this week, and it started with a good win up there at X Stadium, a 1-0 win over Wichita State.
Yeah, the game on Wednesday, Wichita State was it was an interesting game. It was one of the better pitching performances I've seen in quite some time. We basically went up there on a Wednesday game knowing we couldn't afford to get anybody too overworked with the weekend just a day away. Coach Walton scripted out basically an 8 or 9 man plan to navigate the game, and all the kids went out and did a really good job. Some of the guys I thought were nails, pitching out of some really tough situations. Peyton Battenfield did a heck of a job. Jake Lyons made some great pitches. Mitchell Stone had a really positive outing to go along with several others. So that was a well-pitched game. It was an important win for our team to kind of turn the momentum back our direction coming off the West Virginia series. And, with the wind blowing out 30 miles per hour, if you'd have said it was going to be a 1-0 game going in, I would have said you were probably crazy. But that's how it played out, and Cowboys were on the right side of that one.
Yeah, Seifert got the lone RBI in the game, and Logan Gregg got the save. And, Coach, when you look at it, again, just as you said, it's not like you're going to get to settle in for 3 or 4 innings. You're getting in, you're getting out. Mitchell Stone pitched for 2 innings. That was the longest by anybody. And so guys really did. They had to be laser focused, came in, did their job, and then sat down.
Yeah, I think the thing that it does for your team, too, it gets a lot of guys involved. And I think when a lot of kids know, hey, the way we're going to approach this game is all you guys are going to pitch an inning, it gets a lot of guys to where now they feel a responsibility to be prepared, and it kind of, in many ways, it can kind of bring the roster together because more guys are going to be a part of the result of the game. Therefore, their intensity and their focus heading into it is very good. So I like the way that game, set us up. I like the momentum that it created for us as we extended the road trip and headed up to Lawrence.
Let's talk about that first one in Lawrence. Coach Maya Lance, 27-6 in this game. You had 12 home runs, and we know how the whole story fills out. So maybe your focus is not on Friday night completely, but what an incredible offensive output game.
Well, to your point, you don't win the series, so that's disappointing. But if you just look at each game, which is what you do have to do, that particular game we did some really good things. I think anytime you have a kid like Christian Funk who's had an early season kind of midway point, I'd say below his level of expectation, for him to roll out and hit 3 homers in a game, pretty remarkable feat. Trevor Boone does the same thing. Again, pretty remarkable feat. You have other guys chipping in. I think Garcia hit a couple. Colin hit his daily home run. Navigato hits a home run. I mean, you look up, Cabanis hits one of the longer ones on the day. We had a lot of guys hit the ball hard on the barrel. Obviously, Kansas went down staff once we got way ahead. So we were facing some guys that weren't up to par to slow us down, and we did a great job with game 1.
It was incredible, to say the least. The Cowboys win at 27-6. When we come back, we'll talk a little bit more about that game. We'll look at the rest of the series, and we'll get Coach's thoughts on Pete and Cavilla, who we've got a feature for coming up in just a little bit. Take a time out. Our first of the show. We'll be back right after this. The OSU Roundup is brought to you by Bud Light, Game Day's favorite light lager. By the Visit StillwaterOK.org shop, Dine and Stay partners. Be sure to shop, dine, and stay in America's friendliest college town. By Mercy Health, your life is our life's work. And by OG&E, power at the speed of life.
He's not even looking at you until that ball's coming in.
Uh-oh, this one is jacked to left field and a no doubt about it home run. Good grief. The 12th of the day. This is unreal.
Welcome back once again, talking to Coach Josh Holliday. And, Coach, going back to that game against Kansas on Friday night, I just got to think that the emotion in that dugout Friday night and the contagiousness of what was going on. I mean, have you ever been a part of something that was probably, obviously there's bigger wins and there's bigger moments, but of something that guys were just swinging that loose and having that kind of success?
I can't say I remember anything quite like that. That was, one of those days when you put your suit on, you might see something amazing happen. Friday was one of those days. I mean, obviously, the kids, I think, were in a pretty good spot, feeding off each other. Hitting is contagious. Confidence can be shared, and it all just kind of flowed. And I think you saw kind of the perfect storm. And going into Saturday, game 2, you come out in the first inning. and Christian Funk picks up right where he leaves off with a 2-run homer, and Colin hits a homer, and it kind of as if it almost continued on. But Zephyr John settled in game 2. He was tough for us to figure out in innings 3 through 6, and we ended up locking horns and playing what ended up being a really good Big 12 baseball game in game 2. Parker Scott came out of the bullpen, I thought was fantastic. I thought his outing was a huge bright spot for us as we continue to identify other guys that have the potential to pitch large chunks of innings or start games, and gave us a really good opportunity to win the game down the stretch. They find a way to put something together late and ultimately walk us off. So, you lose game 2, hard-fought game, a lot of positives there to build on, and you get yourself ready for game 3 on Sunday.
And, Parker Scott, 8 Ks in that game, a career high, fantastic outing for him. They do walk you off in that game, Coach, 5-4, and unfortunately it goes into extra innings, and they were able to do the same thing on Sunday. Yeah,
the Sunday game, that one burns. There's just no way around it. You get a lead, we make a mistake or two on defense that opened the door for them. They tie it back up. We jump back out and grab a lead again, and they showed some resiliency. I give Kansas a lot of credit. This is a group of kids that get beat 27-6 on Friday night, and they put together a winning formula on Saturday. Credit to them. And on Sunday, I thought we had that ball game in our grasp. I thought we were in position to control it and finish it out, but they continued to compete. And as we've learned in all big-time conferences or big-time sporting moments, you have to play every pitch down to the very last one. Tough one to swallow for sure, but we're close. Our kids are close. We did some good things over the course of that week. And we've just got to continue to forge forward with these kids and get over that hump as a ball club.
Going into the week, number 2 in the Big 12 standings right now, still in great shape. And coaches, we get ready to wrap up our segment here. Before we do that, obviously good luck this weekend and wish you the best there. But I wanted to get your thoughts. We talked a little bit about Pete Incaviglia. We've got a feature coming up in the next block. But just again, having him here, how special that weekend was and what he's meant to the program.
It was almost like he never left. I mean, it really was. He walked in, and it was kind of like, here he comes again, walking down. He's, maybe got a little more gray hair now, and he's wearing glasses, but that's Pete. And he just walks in, and his presence is felt, and it was really special. And what a big deal to all of us, especially, me as the head coach now, to know that one of the guys that helped make Oklahoma State baseball what it is, it's given us this chance to vault forward into something that could be very special, is back and involved and happy and behind us. So, you obviously got some clips of him. He can share his thoughts, but I can tell you from my desk and that of everybody involved, it was really special to have him back.
Undoubted. It was a great weekend for sure. We've got Pete Incaviglia. We'll hear from him coming up after the timeout. Welcome back to the show. Well, we've been talking a little Cowboy baseball, and when you're talking about the history of Oklahoma State baseball, undoubtedly it includes the player of the century in Pete Incaviglia. Our own Dave Hunziker got a chance recently to catch up with Mr. Incaviglia.
So when you came back for the West Virginia series, game on Friday night, you sat in the stands with Tom Holliday, Mike Day, and Kevin Fowler, all part of your OSU baseball past. So when you left the ballpark that night, what was running through your mind?
Oh, well, it took me so long to get back here, be honest with you. It's funny, I saw Kevin, and I saw Tom and Mike, and I probably haven't seen them in, God, I don't know, 10, 15 years. And it was just like yesterday, we saw them, we just kind of pick up where we left off, because it was really fun to be back at Alley P, and it's great to see everybody, great to see the fans. I believe that we have the best fans in college baseball. I mean, they love their Oklahoma State baseball, so it was a tremendous fun for me.
Obviously, your stats and your accomplishments, those speak for themselves. But when I talked to people who played with you, who coached you at Oklahoma State, they said you had an influence on the team from a leadership standpoint that was very, very significant.
I was never much of a raw guy. I think I just kind of led by example. I mean, I just went in, and I was very passionate about, that emblem on my chest. For me, it was never really about me. It was about the people around me. I felt like, they had put their confidence in me to bring me here and give me a scholarship and let me do something that, lots of people would love to do, and that's play, a kids game. So I tried to just, every day my work ethic was, make sure that I was the best that I could be every day I woke up. I wanted to be the best baseball player I could be, not for me, but for everybody around me.
Well, I guess it's worth noting a special relationship, one Italian to another. Tom Holliday to Pete Incaviglia.
Oh, man. I don't think there's words to describe how much I appreciate what Tom did for me as a 18-year-old kid, never left, never been away from home. As soon as I met Tom, it was more like I met a older brother that kind of turned into a father figure. I don't think I would have ever amounted to what I amounted to without Tom and Dave. They gave me, everything I needed to move on in life. It wasn't just about baseball. It's about growing up and becoming an adult and being accountable, and they were always there for me, so I owe them a big debt of gratitude.
Great stuff there. Thanks, Dave, and always good to hear from one of the Cowboy legends for sure. Let's talk some softball. We'll talk to Kenny Gajewski coming up on the other side of the break. Welcome back to the OSU Roundup. Now talking to the head coach for the Oklahoma State Cowgirls, Coach Kenny Gajewski. And Coach, 4 straight series wins, 2 straight sweeps. We kind of talked about this last week, but man, things are really going well for this program right now.
Well, I think I think our girls are really playing well, and it's good to see that these kids have worked hard. These kids set some pretty lofty goals, and it's cool to see them playing well and doing the things that they need to do to continue to improve.
When you look at it, though, from your perspective and listening to you always talk about, but we've got to continue to do this. To be the whole team, you'll throw in we wasted a net bat here or there. The casual fan's not seeing that. They're seeing a big victory, and you're looking at the finite details. Where is it this team in between now and postseason that you guys really want to start to, okay, this is an area we've got to really change a little bit if we want to have the expectations in the postseason?
Well, I think it's with our offense. We've continued to play better defense. We've continued to pitch well. We need Logan to be that third one like she was on Sunday against Iowa State. We need her to have those type of outings. But we needed to continue to be hammers. And our first game on Saturday, we've been talking about staying out of the air, lazy fly balls, those kind of weak at bats. We hit 2 fly balls in that whole game. The third game, we only hit 2 fly balls. The middle game, we scored 6 runs and we hit about 9. And so when this team is going well, the offense is what makes the difference for sure. And our game has changed. I mean, it's offense, and we've got to be able to have those type of performances against really good teams.
36 hits in this series, Coach. And I asked you about doubleheaders the other day, and do you mind doubleheaders? Well, apparently you don't. You guys have swept 2 doubleheaders, and this one was a doubleheader due to expected weather, or actually the cold weather on Friday. 12-3 the win, Coach, 6-3 in the nightcap on that one. And again, 2 very good outings, and man, Michaela, she was offensive.
Richburg was special. 3 big home runs in those first 2 games and some great at bats. Only felt like she gave 1 at bat away in that day. Drove in runs, hitting balls the other way. Riley Bayless was just unconscious. 10 for 12 on the weekend. Just continued clutch at bats, making pitchers work, driving in runs, wreaking havoc on the base paths. Just finally getting hot.
You know, and you guys outscore them 30-11 in the series. And, you know, it's nice when that first one, when you have a 5-inning run rule, 12-3, it allows you to, again, your arms to kind of get rested a little bit. But in this one, the nightcap, or they should say the third game, you guys went back with Shao. They got a few hits on her. You made that change, and you said Logan Simone came in, and she really did a fantastic job.
Yeah, I didn't think Shao was very sharp. Actually, the whole weekend. You know, Iowa State's a tough place. They're doing a great job there. Really improved the program there, which is great for our conference. I told our kids if we don't come there and play, they'll beat us. And I just didn't think that Shao was very sharp. For whatever reason in the first game or the third game. But Logan came in and was just lights out, and we needed that. She threw 5 1/3 of scoreless. It's what we had to have, and it was good to see because she's really worked hard to make some subtle changes.
12-3, 6-3, 12-5, the final as the Cowgirls get the sweep of Iowa State. And they're off this weekend. Rare time to spend a little bit of time close to Stillwater and work on some things and continue to get some good practice in. Coach, appreciate the time. Best of luck next time out.
Thank you.
We need to take a break. When we come back, the next time out, we'll have Audia, the head coach of the Cowboy tennis team, coming up as we continue after this. Welcome back to the show, and we're joined now by the head coach for the Cowboy tennis team, Coach Audia. Coach, pleasure to have you with us on the show, and now headed to postseason. What an exciting time for you guys.
Yeah, we're really excited about finishing off the season well.
You know, when you look at the season, Coach, and you look specifically, and you and I were talking just a moment ago, the men's conference side of the conference in the Big 12 on men's tennis, it is incredibly brutal. And every team is magnificent, and it is truly a gauntlet of who's who in men's tennis right now.
Yeah, you've got some of the best players in the country. You know, if you're playing the Big 12, it doesn't matter what number you're playing. Everyone's 1 through 6 can play really well. It is brutal, but it's also every match is like the Super Bowl, so it's easy to get up for them. And if you want to be the best, you got to beat the best, right? So it's very challenging, but it's good for the guys.
Speaking of beating the best, you guys played Texas, and man, did you play well. You beat them at 1, you beat them at 6, you got the doubles point, and you were within a whisker of getting that third singles as well.
Yeah, that was a tough one to swallow. I thought we had that one coming down the line. Amazing comeback by Scaglia at number 3 singles. Did a great job of winning that second set, and he was on a roll. I have to give credit to that Tellis, who played us at 3. He really played well at the end, but it was a special moment there that we all thought we were going to grab on and get that one. But I was really proud of the guys, just the competitiveness and the level they showed, stepping up to the number 1 team in the country. Came up a little short, but I was proud of them.
Yeah, not only the number 1 seed in the Big 12, but also the number 1 team in the country. And Coach, you guys have gone through some injuries over the course of the season. Talk a little bit about the health going into postseason now.
Yeah, that's been a concern. Early on in the season, we had a top player out, and then middle of the season, another player out. So it was a little challenging. But through that, I think through adversity, I think the guys stepped up. We asked a lot of our bench, and now I think we're starting to get healthy. It was a good match yesterday in terms of everyone who was playing in the lineup. And I think come next Friday, we're going to have everyone again.
You know, and when you look at your roster, Coach, you don't have but 1 senior. You got several sophomores in there. This team, obviously, you're focused on and having a fantastic run now. But as you look ahead a little bit, this team is built for the future.
Yeah, we have a lot of players that, this is their first year playing college tennis. You know, they might have played professional and they've come here as transfer students or they're true freshmen. So we don't have a lot of experience on this team. But they can all play. They all have a lot of talent. So I'm excited to finish off this year, try to build something this year to go into next year.
And as you look at this now postseason, you guys, as a 6 seed, will take on the 3 seed TCU, and that happens Friday at noon up there in Lawrence, Kansas, right?
Yeah, we're going to take on TCU again. So both squads know each other well. It's only, we just played them yesterday, so we know what to expect. We know what we need to do. So thinking we can hopefully get this one this time.
Well, and obviously that's important, but now we're also focusing on May 3rd, NCAA tournament. You guys certainly going to be in that, and who knows where you're going to be, but there's more to the postseason than the Big 12 for you guys.
Exactly. There's so much more to play for. It's just like we were talking about, every match in the Big 12, you're playing a top 10 team, so everything's possible still. You know, if you make a run at the tournament, win the tournament, you can still be a 1-2 seed. So we're looking forward to the challenge, and all eyes on TCU right now.
Absolutely. TCU Friday at noon up in Lawrence, Kansas in the Big 12 tournament. Coach, best of luck. Appreciate the time.
Thank you very much.
Hey, that's going to wrap things up for us. We want to say thanks to Coach Holliday, Coach Kitty Gajewski, and awesome to look in and hear from the great words of Pete Incaviglia and have a chance to catch up with one of the Cowboy legends out there for sure. That's going to do it for us. I'm Casey Kendrick. We'll see you guys next time right here on the OSU Roundup. The OSU Roundup is brought to you by Bud Light, Game Day's favorite light lager. By the Visit StillwaterOK.org shop, Dine and Stay partners. Be sure to shop, dine, and stay in America's friendliest college town. By Mercy Health, your life is our life's work. And by OG&E, power at the speed of life.